Fanatics started its sports betting business a couple years back, right?
It did.
And as Michael Rubin, your CEO, he was looking to expand the company beyond like the sports merchandise that Fanatics is known for.
Yep.
So how's that process been, like starting this brand in an entirely new business line from scratch?
It's been awesome. I ran FanDuel and helped build FanDuel from a DFS company into the #1 player in sports betting. I learned a ton, but also saw a lot of opportunities to frankly do it better a second time. And what I saw with Fanatics was an incredibly unique set of assets that if you could put those together into a value proposition, I think we would have, and I think we're proving today, that we have something really differentiated from what else is out there in the marketplace.
So take me through the last few years here. So what does one have to do to start a sportsbook and then take it across the country?
So one of the most important things to me was approach this the same way a Silicon Valley startup would approach the problem, which is let's hire an amazing product and engineering team and focus on building an amazing product first. We launched our product probably about almost 18 months ago. We were kind of fully open to the public starting at football of 20 last year. So we've been kind of in business for 15 months. So there was probably 2+ years that we're just building the product. And then from there, it was really about, let's make sure we have something differentiated in the marketplace. So one of the biggest things we do is you earn up to 10% back in fan cash every time you bet. So we are the most rewarding sportsbook out there. And you can use that fan cash to buy merch, to buy collectibles, to make bets, etc.
Got it. And like, what are the kinds of hurdles that one has to go over to be able to do business everywhere?
So it's a big regulatory lift. So from our perspective, it was we want to be live everywhere. So we wanted to build a footprint that was the same size as the biggest players out there. We've done that, but that means getting licensed in 22+ states and districts. And then it was also, we actually, along the way, we decided what we were doing wasn't hard enough, so we bought PointsBet. We also had to integrate PointsBet, migrate their customers. And so we had a lot of things going on in parallel, but we're super happy with where we are.
And I saw you open a new sports betting location in New Jersey a few months ago, and across the country, we've seen more and more of that. What's the strategy with the physical sportsbook location? So
from our perspective, physical sportsbooks are all about a brand touch point, right? It's not about making money, but it's about how do people kind of experience what Fanatics has to offer, both from a sports betting perspective, but also just a broader experiential perspective. So we can host events with some of the athletes and celebrities that are in our orbit. We can host players and just generally do incredible things. And so we want people to be able to feel that in real time. Same way people experience our Super Bowl party this weekend.
Right. And when you're talking about these physical locations, what's the longer term vision for, like, how many sportsbooks would you like to see across the world? You won't see, from our perspective, like, there's a big regulatory restriction on what you can do where and what state. And so we'll do as many as make sense. But frankly, we'll also look to do things like, how does the Fanatics Sportsbook and gaming brand show up at a Lids store that we also own as Fanatics? Or how does it show up in the other things that we do? One of the best activations we had last year was Fanatics Fest, where we had over 200 athletes kind of creating an amazing set of experiences for thousands of fans at Javits Center. And we were able to kind of bring the sportsbook to life in that physical location. You couldn't make a physical bet, but you knew that you had premium experiences if you were a sportsbook customer. And frankly, we made a lot of people's dreams come true in terms of who they got to meet and everything else. That's just amazing kind of brand building and association for us. It seems like sports gaming is getting bigger every year, right? You see the numbers. The numbers have been spiking. Yeah. So now we're here at Super Bowl 59. Eagles Chiefs. What kind of betting trends are we seeing in terms of the market and people getting involved? So we saw early money on the Chiefs. Yeah. Seeing later money on the Eagles. You definitely see an Eagles bias in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area. Yes, of course. As you might expect. Generally, parlays are getting more popular. Broadly, the sports betting is getting more popular, but frankly, a lot of that's still just taking market share from the illegal market that's always existed. Got it. Okay. And I see ads for $100 bonuses, $200 bonuses all the time as sports books compete for those new customers, right? So what's the customer acquisition landscape right now, and what's the industry doing to win people to their brand?
So what the industry's historically done, and a lot of the industry is still doing today, is really about kind of leveraging a first mover strategy. It's what we set the stage on at FanDuel, which was a new market's opening, let's go grab as much market share as possible, as quickly as possible.
Right.
And you do that through heavy advertising and heavy upfront promotions. From our perspective, what I saw as an opportunity in kind of building a second mover brand was we can control the pace of our own growth. We don't need to be as focused on getting X% market share on day one. What that allows you to do is be much more disciplined on the marketing side and much more disciplined on the upfront acquisition cost, and then frankly reinvest that back into better rewards than anybody else. Mm-hmm. We're 10x more rewarding on our kind of loyalty side than any other sportsbook. And so what our model is instead of spending $1 in marketing, we'd rather spend that dollar giving it back to a customer.
So looking forward, what are some strategic priorities for Fanatics Sportsbook right now?
So right now we're the third best product in the market. We're making quick progress. We want to be the number one product in the market. We'll get there eventually. And I think consumers are telling us that they really like the direction that we're taking the product, so that's priority one. Priority two is to continue to build out this world of Fanatics. Right now you can use fan cash to buy merch, to buy collectibles, to make bets. We have lots of ideas about more stuff you're going to be able to do with fan cash, and frankly the feedback we've gotten from consumers is that they love it, so we're going to double down on how we build out that ecosystem. And then the third piece is really around continuing to expand the world of Fanatics and how we bring that to customers. And so there's a lot to do.
Matt King, CEO of Fanatics Sportsbook, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.